hear those tires screaming for mercy. 2010 Acura TSX with the 6-speed manual transmission. You can get these on the market today for $4,000 to $10,000, and this example is bone stock. The question today is, how does it fare on the canyons? Is it still fun to drive, or is this car only going to be used as something like a daily driver? We're powered by the 2.4 liter naturally aspirated inline-4, the K24 Z3 engine, making 201 horsepower, 172 pound-feet of torque. That's a dual overhead cam with i-VTEC with a 7,100 RPM redline. And it's actually offered with both 6-speed manual or a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, you could also get this with a V6, making 280 horsepower, but that gave you only an automatic, no manual option. So the enthusiast choice, I would argue, is this. We're weighing in at 3,400 pounds, of course, front-wheel drive with a 60-40 front-to-rear weight distribution, double wishbone in the front and multi-link in the rear with electric power steering. One thing that's interesting is that we have a large 18.5-gallon fuel tank, and since the car has around 23 mpg, that means with a single tank, you have more than a 400-mile range. Also, the American TSX came standard with some luxury features like leather seats, dual-zone climate control, memory driver's seats, sunroof, xenon headlights, and USB port music interface. Yes, cutting edge at the time in 2010. But for our neighbors up in Canada, it was an optional package. Now, this one has an optional technology package with navigation, real-time traffic and weather, 10-speaker premium sound system, but we're going to be focusing on just the driving dynamics today. And I got to say that the styling of this car from 2010, I think, is still surprisingly modern. It holds up. You can tell it's not a totally modern car, looking at things like the taillights not having LEDs and such, but overall, I think the shapes, the proportions, they're a little bit more conservative, but they hold up well to the test of time. Now, we don't have any telescoping to the wheel, but we have tilt, and even still, surprisingly, in a Honda product, I'm not in a terrible seating position, although keep in mind in the pedal box, the floor mat is actually touching and covering the throttle pedal, and every time I try to move this back, it still is covering somewhat. I guess this must be aftermarket. We'll see how that influences things like heel toe and throttle response. But the interior itself, I mean, you have some pretty hard, aged, shiny, smooth leather here, a lot of plastic. It's not the most premium place to be, but it gets the job done. We've got 99,000 miles on the odometer. So this is not going to be the most pristine and fresh example. There we go, 5,000 RPM, getting into VTEC. That's actually not bad. That, I mean, inline-4 with VTEC, you got a decent character to it. Ooh, sluggish on the throttle response. We gotta flip it pretty hard. Very slow steering ratio. A lot of play here as well. Gotta really get a lot of angle in. Revving out to about 7,200. You can hear those tires screaming for mercy. But at least here, Honda didn't cheap out with the suspension architecture. So many Honda products are McPherson strut in the front, and here with the Acura, we got double wishbone, which helps us maintain that more optimal contact patch as we load it up mid-corner. Tons of body lead. Remember, stock example, more of a luxury car that's not trying to be overly sporty. And this transmission feels very Honda, but again, this car with 99,000 miles, not the freshest example, but even still, this is very modern Honda. And what I mean by that, ooh, wow, quite underdamped. Look at that, three up and downs after that big bump. I'll get to the transmission in just a moment, but first, let me give you a pull. Bit of wheel hop. Tons of rev hang. Really have to patiently wait for it to drop. I'm gonna turn VSA off because because I could feel that kicking in on that pull. Wow, very floaty, very soft, a bit underdamped, hence these multiple excess motions. With the throttle response, you gotta jab it really hard. Now, going back to the transmission, when I say it feels very modern Honda, you have these, you know, I guess most modern Hondas actually have shorter throws. This throw feels decently long, actually, not as short as I would like. And there's a good amount of lateral slop, unfortunately. And it has this nice lighter throw that still has a good amount of resistance and crispness between gates. But I don't know. Some people really love all Honda transmissions. I think that some Honda transmissions are great. You look at EK9, you look at S2000, you look at NA1 NSX, and I think other Honda transmissions are mediocre, like this one. But it still feels like a Honda transmission, if that makes sense, in terms of the actual, you know, the resistance between gates, the shifter feel, and things like that. Now with the power to weight, you know, this doesn't feel very peppy. Oh yeah, you can feel that weight in the front end. Yeah, a little bit of push right there. Yep. You can easily overwhelm those front tires. And remember, even though 201 horsepower, 170 pound-feet of torque isn't a lot, you can still get torque steer and corrupt that signal at the front end. And when the car weighs 3,400 pounds as well, it's not the healthiest power to weight ratio, so it does feel a bit sluggish. But again, this car is $4,000 to $10,000, so you're not really expecting, you know, this is not a Type S or anything either. You're not expecting a razor sharp driving experience. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, man, those tires screaming for mercy. The brakes are also, you know, they're soft. They feel very much like a, they feel congruent with what the car is, right? They're not trying to be overly sporty. You have initial softness, long pedal throw, not much firmness. And in fact, as we start hustling it, I'm told that you can actually get brake fade pretty easily, but we haven't been pushing it that hard. Yeah, those tires are really struggling. But one thing that I'm not the biggest fan of with the brake and throttle is that the throttle is a little bit on the sluggish side, even though it is direct, naturally aspirated engine. It just takes a larger jab. And the brake feels more like a potentiometer if you guys do sim racing, so it's more about the pedal position rather than pressure. So when you go to heel toe, that actually makes it a little bit less natural, since it's more about the position you have your foot rather than the pressure you're placing on the foot. So yeah, that rev hang is also quite surprising for a naturally aspirated engine, which likely due to emissions regulations. And the steering as well, it's slower ratio, a little bit of slop, but decently direct. If somewhat of a slower ratio, I don't mind it. It feels pretty natural. Let's give you one more pull. Yeah, the synchro's really forcing me to wait there between first and second. Okay, now we're actually getting a little bit of that brake fade. But a very easy car to drive. I mean, it's front wheel drive, you're not having a ton of power, and especially not sent to the back wheel. So front wheel drive is a lot more approachable than rear wheel drive. It's quite soft, it's quite comfortable, and you get the engagement of having a manual transmission. The practicality of 4 doors. The comfort and refinement of an Acura. So, oh, and of course, can't forget the reliability of it being a Honda, right? So for $4,000 to $10,000, if you want a daily driver that keeps you engaged, you're okay with front wheel drive, but you want something that is not going to punish you and just, you know, make you feel dead inside when you're driving from A to B. And occasionally, you know, when you go on the canyons, you want to have a little bit of fun and engagement. Dude, for $4,000 to $10,000, how are you going to complain about that? I think this car gives you a lot for the money. You just have to be okay with front wheel drive versus getting an older Lexus which is going to give you rear-wheel drive and the benefits that come with that. But here you at least get the manual transmission. With the Lexus products, you're not going to be getting that. You're going to have an auto. So kudos to Honda and Acura for making a 4-door, practical, comfortable daily that has the engagement of a manual transmission, which is becoming more and more rare, especially as we get to modern era. But if you go back to 2010, then you have this TSX. And my friends, let me know what you think. Big shout out to the owner, Hughes, for letting me review his Acura TSX. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabbalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. I'll be in touch. Much love, and I'll see you all in that next one.